Welcome to Christian Evidences Summer 2017. I'm your instructor, Michael Strickland. You can call me Dr. Michael Strickland, but I just prefer Michael. This is a graduate class. What I'm going to do in this video is briefly go over the syllabus and explain how this course works. As opposed to most graduate classes at Amridge, we will not have scheduled weekly meetings. Instead, this is a flipped course. And the idea of a flipped course is that it's more student interactive, so that students are in charge of how they go about learning. So what I'm doing is providing videos about the class material that you'll watch every week, usually 30, 45 minutes, maybe an hour, but not 3 hours of lecture like we normally do. Instead, you're going to spend more time reading, writing, and digesting the material that we cover in this class. Now, this can be one of your favorite classes at all of Amridge if you let it be. It's not going to be simply an apologetics type class in the sense of this is where the atheists get it all wrong and this is where we get it right and this is how they mess with the data and this is the way it's really supposed to be interpreted. We'll do some of that, but honestly I don't think that that kind of apologetics works and oftentimes makes us out to be disingenuous. And so while we're going to look at proofs for Christianity, we're also going to look at how to think about being Christian in a post-Christian age. How the argument for Christianity is often made much more subtly than appealing to the age of the earth or trying to convince someone that the logic of their position doesn't necessarily work. That definitely will factor in at some point, but as we go along you'll see, especially in the readings, how simply trying to line up the right arguments is not apologetics. So I want to quickly go over the syllabus and review what I expect of you. So I'm on the syllabus page on Canvas with my contact information. We're going to skip straight ahead to textbooks. So we have two required textbooks, Handbook of Christian Apologetics by Crichton Tichelli, and then The Soul's Upward Yearning, Clues to Our Transcendent Nature from Experience and Reason by Robert Spitzer. Now this is a new book to me. I've owned the book for a while now and read it, and I love the book. And it's a form of what's often called the new apologetics, an argument starting from man's experience and the various clues that we were created more than to be more than simply animals that breathe and exist, and there are certain aspects of our nature that point to something more. That's the argument of Robert Spitzer. It's a great book. It's also one of the headier books that I use in class, and so it takes a lot of time to digest, but it's a great book. Then you have to buy one more book, and you can choose between either the book 3 Views on Creation and Evolution. You're going to do a book review of this book, or the book by Charles Taylor, A Secular Age. So you'll be doing a book review either on the 3 Views on Evolution or on A Secular Age. You can choose which one. I do have a small bibliography there. You're going to be interested to know how the course grading breaks down. Throughout the semester we'll have 4 quizzes, each worth 25 points for 100 points. Your book review will be submitted to me in two sections. First, a first draft and then a final draft. We'll go over exactly when those will be due in just a moment. So together, the book review is total 200 points. The reason I have you do a first draft is so that you won't wait until the very last minute to try to do it all. When that happens, rarely is work as good as it could be. There will be a final exam, and it's worth 100 points. Your weekly discussions, which I expect some robust discussion in this class, will be worth a total of 300. Every week we have a discussion, including the first week. And then likewise for the research paper, you'll submit it in 2 iterations, worth a total of 300 points. So you notice that periodically throughout the semester I will mention the fact that, for instance, it says here in week 1 Dr. Strickland will host a live session on Zoom on Thursday, May 11th at 9 a.m. Central to explain the format of the class. So we will have a meeting on May 11th, Thursday, May 11th at 9 a.m., which is when the class is listed as meeting, but we won't meet every week. We'll meet periodically throughout the semester just to go over any questions that you might have. So I will be available Thursday, May 11th at 9 a.m. on Zoom, and if nobody shows up after about 10 minutes, I will conclude the class. But if somebody does show up, I'll answer any questions that we have. As we go along the semester, we can use these meetings as times to go over the work that we'll be doing. So you'll notice that the syllabus lays out week by week what is expected of you. The first quiz takes place in week 3, and there's a study guide provided on Canvas for that. So just look in the module for week 3. You'll want to, by week 4, begin reading either the 3 Views book or the Secular Age textbook so that you can start to think about how you want to do your book review. I will have a guide for the book review provided, by the way, on Canvas. Let's see. So you can see when the various assignments are due. Week 7, the first draft of your book review is due. And I had to scratch out one thing that was incorrect. I had a 5th quiz listed in it, and we only have 4 quizzes. The final exam is due by August 18th. The first draft of your research paper is due on week 12, and the research paper is due week 14 on August 13th. So it's important to me when you write your research paper that you remember this is a graduate level class. Do not use websites as sources. Yes, rarely you can, but let's just assume you can't. And if there's a good reason you want to use a website as a source, let me know ahead of time and I'll approve or disapprove it. You have to have at least 6 sources. Those 6 sources need to be books or journal articles, and by journal I mean academic journals that are written on a scholarly level, and at least one of them must have been written in the last 20 years, so since 1997. What I don't want are websites. What I don't want is some self-published book. Realize that publishing can be done very easily these days. People can self-publish on Amazon for very little money, and so I want credible sources. So legitimate academic publishers, legitimate academic journals. I can certainly point you in the right direction. It's got to be 2,500 to 3,000 words. It has to be at least 2,500. If you go over 3,000, you won't get in trouble. I prefer the Society of Biblical Literature format, which is based on the Chicago Manual of Style. So if you use either one of those in my class, Chicago Manual of Style or Society of Biblical Literature, then you'll do just fine. And if you're not sure about those, I can provide guides for it. But then secondly, if you want to use a different style, MLA or APA, you can, but just let me know ahead of time. Notice number 2, it says you have to watch weekly videos. Every week you'll have 2 or 3 videos, sometimes 4 videos to watch, usually around 15 minutes long. We will have periodic meetings throughout the semester. I have mentioned here under number 2 that on May the 11th, June the 8th, and July 21st, we will have class meetings at 9 a.m. Those are all Thursdays, to discuss anything we need to in class. And I will warn you ahead of time when we're going to do those, so that if you need to be there, you can. Those sessions will be recorded and provided on Canvas. Don't forget you have a research log to do. As I mentioned before, you have a book review that is 1,500 to 2,000 words, and I'll provide a guide for it. What I don't want is you to simply state over and over your opinion of the book. Instead, I want you to show that you understand the arguments of the book, the general purposes of the book. And then at the end, I'll allow you to offer up your opinion. But mostly I want to see that you have read the book and processed the information in it. Then you can critically examine it. And critical examination is always an important part of scholarship. You have 4 online quizzes. You have weekly discussion board topics. If you've been through classes at Amherst before, that kind of information is typical. So welcome to the course. I'm glad you're here. You can go ahead and skip to the Week 1, Class 1, Video 1, where I begin my lectures. I should note that most of these lectures were recorded in the summer of 2016, so occasionally I refer to that. And sometimes you'll see some literature with summer 2016 on there, but just realize that we are using those videos again in 2017. God bless you, and please contact me if you have questions.